Good afternoon, my people. What is going on, Wealth Our Way Nation? It is your main man, Charles Tank Harris, the founder and chief visionary officer of the financial literacy platform, Wealth Our Way, where our motto is, wealth is not only for the wealthy. I welcome each and every one of you to episode 108, Zero-Based Budgeting. But before we get into all that, I got to say thank you and welcome back to all of you who are here with me live as I stream across Wealth Our Way's Facebook and YouTube platforms. I also want to give that special salute to the Wealth Our Way Nation members who watch this program pre-recorded overnight, over the weekend, wherever you can squeeze 15 minutes of financial literacy in. And a heartfelt how are you to the good folks on the Life 101 platform who listen to the audio recording of this very here program. I missed you cats, man. Last week, I took the week off for the holiday season, Thanksgiving, as it is so known in these parts. But I want to say that every day that I wasn't with you, I thought about you. Every day that I wasn't broadcasting, I did a little bit of work and research to bring you some great topics for this week. And we're going to start off with a really good topic that I found on my Navy Federal Credit Union blog. But before I get into all of that, I got to let you know what day it is. It is Monday, November 29th. In case you don't realize, tomorrow is Tuesday, November 30th. The 30th of November always comes after the 29th of November. Why is the 30th of November being pointed out by your man, Big Tank? Because that is the last day for you to go ahead and get your entry in to the 2021 Wealth Our Way Wealth Building Contest, where 5 lucky people will win $200 each as a contribution for their Roth or traditional IRA. So before I get into too much, I want to say that over the past week, I've been on the internet looking at some things. There's a cat that does a lot of financial teaching on the internet. I will not say his name because I don't want anybody to ever think that I spread anything but positivity. But I've watched this cat. He has a much higher profile than I do. He has grown his listening audience and viewing audience exponentially. And he has a very good story, and people obviously resonate with the story. But I saw online where he was selling a course for almost $2,000. And I just happened to look at the comments on Facebook under the course today, and people were not happy. They were just going in on the whole concept of him charging so much money for his course. And it's interesting for me because you guys who come here every day to 15 Minutes of Finance know that I give you 15 minutes of finance every weekday, 12:30 Eastern, for free. You know that I give webinars out, all kinds of stuff for free, because I'm trying to raise your financial literacy. I do have a for-profit side of what I do. Some of you are clients. Some of you, are soon to be clients. Some of you have bought various things that I do, like my ebook. But the reality is that I do not believe in this particular space. The financial services space is different from every other space because we are literally trying to teach you how to get more money. And it's difficult to teach somebody to get more money by taking a lot of their money. So I'm a bit of a different type of dude because I don't come profit for Tank when I come out here. I come profit for you guys. But what I have learned, and this is where the rubber meets the road and my job is made difficult sometimes, I've been taught, I've experienced that when people don't pay for something, they don't really value it. Now, that's not for my core audience here who comes here every day and loves the information that they get. But there are people who say, hey, this guy is free. What could he really be talking about? I work with a coach personally who I've paid thousands of dollars to, who says to me, hey, Tank, you got to raise your prices on everything you do because people who I've shown your work to say this guy is smart, but if he's this inexpensive, he's not for me. So I just wanted to throw that out there to tell you this. Hey, I'm not going to change. Like, I'm going to be who I am. I've been very blessed to be in this business for a quarter century, to make my money where I make it. I'm going to always have this free platform. I'm always going to have a low barrier to entry cost platform. And then I got clients of mine who need more hand holding and more just insight, and they pay top dollar for that insight because I'm worth it. But when I see people basically trying to make every dollar that they can make off of people who are just trying to learn, it doesn't sit well with me. And like I said, I'm not going to point any people out. There are people all over the internet selling coaching courses, financial courses, just various stuff. I always tell you guys, beware. If you have a question and somebody wants to charge you $5,000 for the answer, inbox me first. If I can't give you the answer for free, then maybe you need to go pay $5,000. But I'd be hard pressed to believe that you're going to find somebody out there who can give you better information than I can give you. And I'm always willing to give it to you 15 minutes at a time for free. With that being said, today we're going to talk about a topic that you know is near and dear to my heart. I tell you, you can't get started getting your finances right without getting your budget right. There are so many different ways to budget, but I was reading the blog this weekend on ZeroBased Budgeting, and I thought it was so dope that I wanted to come share it with you guys. It's a quick read. We should get through it, well within the 5 to 10 minute period that we have left, and just, answer any questions that you guys may have. So I am going to share my screen, bang, and I'm going to bring up zero-based budgeting for you guys. So basically, the first question that needs to be asked is, what is zero-based budgeting? And the best way for you to think about zero-based budgeting is this little paragraph right here. It's you taking what your take-home pay is. And I like to use a month. So if we use a month, if you get paid twice a month, every 2 weeks, you have to do a little bit more math. Every week, a little bit more math. But if you get paid twice a month or monthly, it's really clean and easy for you. If you get paid every 2 weeks, that's 26 paychecks a year. You can multiply your paychecks and divide by 12 months and determine what your monthly number is. But basically, you want to take your take-home pay, and then out of your take-home pay, you want to subtract your expenses, what you want to put away for savings, and what you want to do to lower your debt. You want that number to end up being zero every month. So you got to do this in a 4-step process. The first step is to get started, you list all your sources of monthly income. So most of us get a paycheck, or if you're like me, you own your own business, you get sales that come in and you carve out some money from your sales for your personal revenue. But there are other monies that may come in, alimony and child support, Social Security check, retirement monies. Whatever your source of income is, you list that source of income. Now, be careful here, because some of us, if we're working in our source of income, we may actually have some of our savings coming out of our paycheck before we get our paycheck. We may have some of our expenses like healthcare coming out of our check before we get our check. So when we go to track our monthly expenses, we want to make sure that we add back in what might have been taken out before we got our paycheck. So always be careful with that. But let's start with taking your monthly source of income, and then you want to categorize all your expenses. So they give you the suggestion of creating spending budgets like living expenses, debt, savings, entertainment. And they tell you to rank them in order of importance, excuse me, to rank them in order of importance. So you can do that. You can say, hey, my housing is most important, food or car, whatever. You go down these expenses. And as they suggest, which I've suggested to you many times before, check your bank statements and your credit card statements that will show you where you're spending money, because you only spend money one of 3 ways. You put it on a card, it comes automatically out your paycheck, or you're spending cash. And if you did one of those 3 things, and I say card, you can also use a check, but it came out of an account, it came out of your check, it came out of your pocket. And all of those sources of money can be tracked back to a main source. So you start tracking those items. The next thing you want to do is build your budget around each of these items. So now that you see how much money comes in, you've seen where each category is, you can now start to see whether these numbers are fixed, like loan payments or mortgages or insurance premiums, things that are fixed numbers, or if they're variable numbers like going out to eat, going to a movie. And if you're ranking them in order of importance, what you can do maybe after a 2 or 3 month period is see where your trends are. And as step 4 says, you can adjust as you go. So if you are spending too much money as opposed to saving money, you can make that proper adjustment. So let's look at an example of how this works. In this particular instance, the person has a $3,000 take-home monthly income. Their expenses for housing, food, and utilities are $1,800. Their loans, student, car, and credit card payments are $400. Their insurances, life, health, autos, and renters, $200. They have clothing, entertainment, charitable giving, all that's $150. Their retirement savings, $200. Emergency fund, $50. They want to go on a trip soon, so they have travel at $50. And then they have their miscellaneous expenses, gym membership, haircuts, holiday fund, birthdays. They make sure that all of their expenses, once they get to the same number that they have coming in, they know they have a zero-based budget. Now, what I hear people out there automatically saying to me, hey, what happens if I got more in spending than I actually have in income? Now we know where those changes have to be made, correct? If you have more, how do you get through a month that you actually have spent more than you earn? You've increased your debt. So you've put money on credit cards, or maybe you didn't pay a bill that you were supposed to have and you're affecting your credit negatively. We now have to look at that and we have to start squeezing inside of our income. No one said this would be easy. Everything about budgeting is simple, but it's not always easy. It's a lot of uncomfortableness that goes into getting on the right track. But like in everything else that we talk about when we have goals and when we have things we want to accomplish, what gets tracked and measured is what gets accomplished. I was able to go with my kids, some of my children, to see King Richard. I think it was last Saturday. So I haven't spoken to you guys since I've seen King Richard. And he used a very old adage with his children that I've heard since I was a little kid, that nobody plans to fail. Nobody does. Nobody sets out and says, here's what I'm going to do to become a failure. But what people do is they fail to plan. And I've used that example with you guys many times in a different way. I said that if you set out with a blueprint on how to make a skyscraper and you follow that blueprint on how to make a skyscraper, when you're done, you're not going to have a building in front of you. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You're not going to have a boat in front of you. There I go messing up. You're going to have a building. You're not going to have a boat. You set out to make a skyscraper. When you're done, you're going to have a skyscraper. So when you think about your budgeting, when you think about other areas of your life that you want to improve, the first thing you have to do is make the plan. And you can see then whether you're following your plan or not. I do that all the time with diet and exercise. I make a diet and exercise schedule and plan. I know at the end of the week, if I was supposed to go to the gym 5 times and I went 2, if I was supposed to not eat out and I did, I know before I step on the scale what the result is, because it's not difficult. It's not brain surgery to come to the conclusion that you're seeking when you have a plan and you follow that plan. So I thought the zero-based budgeting concept was very simple to follow, very easy. I've given you guys many, many different budget tools before. There's some on the website. But if you want something really quick, simple, and easy to kick off on my accountability call this morning, we were talking about starting our New Year's resolutions on Wednesday. We're going to start our New Year's resolutions on December 1st, because a lot of people start their New Year resolutions on January 1st. By mid-February, they've given up. So I figure, hey, I'll start mine on December 1st, me and my group. By the time 4 to 6 weeks kicks in and we start to take things for granted and maybe slack, everybody else will still be starting theirs and be real excited about it, which should give me momentum to keep going. So I'm just trying to trick myself. At the end of the day, we have to do whatever is necessary to get ourselves to do the right things. Because as I've told you on previous programs, sometimes our very programming as human beings make us not do the right things because we're trying to conserve energy or just do things that make us survive for today instead of having a long-term approach. Budgeting is a long-term approach. So I'm excited to be back. Please get your entries in for the contest. I don't think I even have 5 entries in yet. So everybody who's entered, unless they did something really wrong, is going to win. You guys, you got one more day after the day to get your entries in. Please do. I want to give away money. I'm not here to charge you money. I'm here to give away money. So please get your entries in. And remember, wealth is not only for the wealthy. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.